Hi friends, and welcome back into my studio. If you are new here, my name is Tammy Ernest and I am a Longarm quilter, and here on my channel I like to share customer finishes as well as my own personal projects. Today I have the 2025 Jolly Box to share with you. If you have not opened yours yet, then please skip forward in this video until you get to the first customer quilts. But I did want to share this. This has been sold out. So if you did not get yours, your name, or did not reserve this ahead of time, I'm so sorry, but you'll need to mark it on your calendar for next year. Or go ahead and mark it on your calendar for the Cupid box, which will be coming out in February. These are exclusive boxes to the Fat Quarter Shop that are done seasonally. They have a Cupid box. They do on the 4th of July, and I can't remember the name of it. They do the Spooky box, which was in October, and they do this Jolly box here in December, or almost December. We're getting very close. So the Fat Quarter Shop did send this to me, and I appreciate them doing that. I love getting these boxes. I love just the box this year. I mean, look at this. Is this not the cutest box? So fun. And so when you get one of these in the mail, it's like getting a present. It's just very, very fun. So I wanted to share the contents with you. I love the contents of this box this year, and I may even start on some of these projects very soon because I think these are adorable. So let me open this up. I have already looked at everything, but I want to share it with you. So like every box, it starts with a insert on the top, and there is always a great coupon on the back. And this one is for Christmas gifts and home decor. So if you are purchasing the box, if you use the coupons that are on the back, you're going to make back the money that you would spend on the box anyway, honestly. You got a big purchase coming up, order the box, you get all this, use the coupon to then make your purchase, and then you've gotten your box for free. So great thing to do. So this one is separate. These boxes are different. They are separate from the Sew Sampler box. The Sew Sampler box is a monthly subscription. These are extra. They are not part of that subscription. So you do have to purchase these separately. Even if you already have that subscription to the Sew Sampler box, when the reservations for these specialty boxes come out, you do need to do those separately from the other subscription. So Jolly Box 2025, and this time the fabric line, let me make sure I get the name of it right. This is called Mistletoe and Holly from Beverly McCullough. So cute. Now this is a 12 bundle fat quarter, a bundle of I really messed that one up. This is a bundle of 12 fat quarters. You can purchase this line. It comes in a bundle of 24 fat quarters. So we're getting 12 in this bundle. And let me open this up and show you the fabrics. They are so cute. So cute. Beverly McCullough does it. Flamingo Toes is her company name. She does such cute projects. So here is the green. Let me open this up a little bit because I'm missing a little bit of it. So it's got your flowers, little bits of the pinks. So you've got the greens and the berries and the reds and just a tad bit of pink in it. You see the bells on there also. Very fun. That's that print. The next one is red. I like the color red. It's bright, but it's not so bright that it's gaudy. So I like it. This one has the bells in white, and then this time you still have a little bit of the pinks and then just a tad bit of green in there too. Very pretty. Like that. Oh, so cute. This one is a lighter green, but it's got the snowflakes, all those different snowflakes on there. Oh, very fun. I like this one too. This is a little smaller of a print. You got the red berries and the florals. This one has a gray background. This is that same print as this one, but this has the white background and this has the gray background. So you might want to use these even in some other project that you have. They would make great backgrounds for any Christmas project. This one is red with white stars and has pink little bells. Another red with little pink flowers. Then this is the same print with a dark green background, and then the same print with a light green background. Very pretty. I like this one too. This is a fun design. So this looks like lattice work, but if you look real close, they are candy canes. Is that not cute? This is done in that lighter green, like I just showed you in this print, so those match. They're in a lighter green. That same candy cane lattice work is then done in the red. And the final one, I like this. This will make a great backing. This is a plaid, red, green, and the pink in there as well. Make a great backing. So 12 fat quarters, and let me show you the pattern that goes with it. I love it, I love it. Now this pattern is only exclusive to this box, so you won't be able to get this one. So this is Mistletoe Moments. It has presents, it has houses, it has Christmas trees. You can't go wrong. So cute. Measures 52 by 56. It uses the 12 fat quarters. Then it also uses a background print. It uses, which may be that little, it may be this one. I can't quite tell. It's so small in here. And then it uses a red for an outside border, which looks like this one. But these are what else you will need. There are finishing kits for this. So if you get on Fat Quarter Shop, you can order a finishing kit that would finish this. So that would be the borders and the backing, maybe the binding. Let me look real quick. Okay, it looks like they don't give specifics, but it says it does not include your backing fabric. So if you're looking for a backing fabric for this one, I love this one. I think it'd be very pretty. But if you buy the finishing kit, you're getting everything to finish the top. So you're getting the background, the white background that goes behind these blocks. You are getting the red border, and I don't know that you're getting the binding. It doesn't say specifically, but you'll want to check that out on Fat Quarter Shop, and I have linked that down below. So I love, love, love this pattern. So, so cute. Oh my goodness. All right, I have to show you something else that's exclusive to the box, and I'm so sorry because I think everybody's gonna want one of these. This is a tree skirt panel, and it has houses on it. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. So it's a tree skirt. So, and then it also has mini stockings that you can make as well. So this is one panel. There's another one of the stockings. Oh, so cute. Then the stars and the houses are all part of the tree skirt. Here's another stocking. There are 4 stockings, so they might be fronts and backs. Yeah, front and back. So this green print is the back. This green print is the front. Are they the same? Yep, so 2 of those. And then you have the tree skirt in the middle with the houses. It matches the pattern. Oh, okay, I am really over the moon about this one. I think this is so, so cute. Now this is exclusive to the box, so if you didn't get the box, you won't be able to get that panel. But I did find on the Fat Quarter Shop, there is another panel that you might like. This one is, forget the name of it, but I've linked it down below. So this is a tree skirt panel that you can get, no matter, anybody, not in the box. This is a tree skirt panel, so that is not pieced. That is a panel that you would purchase. And then it has pot holder pattern on the outside edges. So if you're liking this line and are sad that you didn't get the box, this may be an alternative that you could do. I also found another pattern that uses this line. Again, I think is adorable. This is by Beverly McCullough. This is called Holly Lane. The house in the middle, the houses around the outside edge. I love this pattern. Measures 71 by 71. And the fabric requirements are a fat quarter bundle, so the 24 fat quarters. So if you're in love with this line, you could buy the 24 fat quarter bundle in this pattern. and you could make this beautiful quilt. Small print border, ½ yard, large print border, 1 yard, and they tell you which ones to purchase for that. And then your background fabric and a binding and a backing. I think this is super cute. So this is not part of the box, so you can get this one, and I have linked that down below, but you'll want to check it out. I mean, there are so much fun things. So this line, mistletoe and holly is the line. There are tea towels available. There are some other things on there too. So if you missed out on the box, you might want to check out some of those. Let me see what else is in the box. Then there is an ornament. This also is exclusive to the box. Let me take it out so that it doesn't. This is so cute. And it's a house. It's a nice heavy metal ornament. I mean, like a metal. No, it's an ornament. It is super cute. It has the house on there. Again, this is exclusive to the box, so I hope you got your box. So cute. If you're looking for other Christmas ornaments, not necessarily Christmas ornaments, if you're looking for fabric ornaments, let me say that. If you're looking for sewing related ornaments, there are several on Fat Quarter Shop. Nothing like this that I can see, but if you're looking, maybe your friends or you're passing them out as gifts, then there are some sewing related ones, and that's very fun, but I love this one. I love this one. The last thing in the box is some gray Orfil thread. This is called aluminum. And I've mentioned before, I will be sticking this in my binding bag. And I can't get it open. Oh, plastic these days. Okay. This is aluminum, so it's kind of a shiny gray color. I use these small spools when I get them. I put them in my binding bag so that when I'm doing bindings, I have all different colors. I love using these things when I get them in the sampler boxes or in these boxes, throwing them in that binding bag so that I have lots of choices when I'm doing bindings. So this is a 50 weight Orfil Mako cotton, M-A-K-O, Mako cotton. And this one has, let's say how much yardage is on here. I don't see it, but this one you can purchase on your own, so I will link that down below for you as well. So that is the 2025 Jolly Box. I love everything about it. Thank you, Fat Quarter Shop, for sending this to me. And those of you who didn't get one, please, please, please put your name on the list for next year. You will want to get a Jolly Box. I really enjoy it. Again, the Cupid box comes out in February. The Patriotic box that I cannot think the name of right now, I can't think of it, comes out before the end of June, and then Spooky Box, and then the Jolly Box in December, late November. So very fun. Can you believe we're in, I hate when people say this, but can you believe we're at the end of the year again already? I just don't know where the time goes. So I have some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful customer quilts that will take a good bit of time today, so I want to share those with you now. These two quilts both come from Jennifer. This first one is called Preppy Petals. This is a pattern by Kristen Quinn Creative, and I have linked that down below. This is a baby quilt, measures 44 by 44. It's just 2 blocks. You do have your 5 of these flower blocks, and they are on either corner and in the middle. And then your second block is 4, so it's basically a 9 patch. But just with blocks instead. Then your second block is this green one, and this is kind of interesting to me because it looks like the diagonal blocks, they look like they are pieced, but then this green on the horizontal and vertical looks like it is put over the top. And let me bring this in close so you can see what I mean. Looking at it's almost like it's laid on top. Like the vertical one and the horizontal one are laid on top. Very interesting. So you'll want to get the pattern and figure out that one, how that one is done. And also the sashing is kind of different in that it is rectangles for these cornerstones and not squares. So you have some rectangle pieces. There is vertical or horizontal sashing in between each of the blocks, then vertical sashing as well, but these rectangle pieces are in the horizontal sashing. So just 2 blocks. Jennifer said she used Grunge and she also used Kona Solids, and then she did find a pretty floral pink border to put around the edge. That's very cute. On the back she asked for Minky, so this is the white Minky. I do carry this in stock. The Minky colors that I carry: white, sand, I have a couple different grays, a light gray and a medium gray. I do have a royal blue. I have a black color right now. I have a light turquoise, blue, kind of a turquoise, an aqua color. Let's call it that. I don't even know the specific name, but it's an aqua color Minky. And I do also have a pink Minky, if I didn't mention that. But I have recently changed my Longarm prep instructions and order form to actually give you a place to put down, to actually give you a place to write in if you're wanting Minky and what color, if you're needing a wide backing, what color, or if you've provided your own backing, and also a measurement for that backing. I also have changed my order form to ask for your preferred density, and it's on a scale of 1 to 10. So if you like loose quilting, then you're going to mark closer towards the lower numbers. If you like a very dense quilting, you're going to mark closer towards the higher numbers. But it's on a scale, a relative scale, but that kind of gives me an idea of what your preference is and when I'm doing your quilting. So that is the Minky. This is the white Minky, and I think you can see the pantograph nicely on this one. This is called Lollipop Garden. Isn't it cute? Now this does stitch horizontal, so when you put it on the long arm, it will stitch out this direction, and this one, the petals stitch first, and then the lollipop part stitches second. So the lollipop part is on the right hand side of your machine, and the petals are on the left hand side, so just make sure you orient your quilt the right direction. This quilt, it wasn't going to matter, it's symmetrical, all the ways are the same, but if you were putting this on your machine and you are doing if you're doing a quilt that has a vertical orientation, kind of like that one, and you are wanting the lollipops like this, you would need to load the top of the quilt towards the right hand side of your bars, because the lollipop will quilt on the right hand side, and then the petals stitch on the left hand side. So you do see it's joined by one straight line, and that's real easy to mark on your when you're realigning with your machine. If you set your horizontal lock on where it needs to be, and then you can just follow that all the way along your quilt, the row that you just did, make sure that that horizontal line is all matching up right there with your horizontal line on your computer screen. If not, then tuck in some batting in the backhand side, behind the bar here, and in the places that you need it, so that you can get that quilt all lined up in a straight line like you need it to be. And very cute. So when you're looking at the quilt, it's going to look like this. I did use this one we used pink thread. And let me show you that on the front. This is Baby Pink by Omni. Omni is made by Superior Threads, and did use the baby pink color just to try to add a little more interest to the front of that. Now I did use white in the bobbin, and you cannot, because Minky kind of soaks in, and I didn't think we needed pink on the back. So I did white in the bobbin, I did pink on the top, and with the tension, with a Minky, you've got a bigger bullseye to hit in between there, so because you are wanting your stitches to meet right there in the middle, right in between. And with a Minky, you have a bigger bullseye because you've got a little bit bigger thickness there. I do use batting with the Minky. I feel that gives a better structure to your quilts. If you just have Minky on the back with your quilt top, while it may be thick enough, it's so floppy. It is just almost unbearable. It's just so floppy. The batting gives some structure to your quilt. So this is baby pink thread on the top, white in the bobbin, And this quilt measures 44 by 44. Cute quilt, Jennifer. Jennifer's second quilt measures 66 by 66. She says this is a half square triangle Christmas tree. I could not find a specific pattern, but these blocks are very large. There are lots of these types of patterns out there, and even if you're given a pattern like this where it's all half square triangles, where you're creating the Christmas tree with the half square triangles, if it's given to you as a wall hanging and you're given, it's told 5-inch blocks, you could do the same thing but make it 10-inch blocks if you want it larger, or if it's the other direction. If your pattern is written for large blocks, you could always make them smaller. If everything is just solid squares and it is a half square triangle block, that would be super easy to do. There's no sashing, nothing like that that you have to figure out. It is just half square triangles. These are very large. I think her blocks probably measure 10 inches. And then this is probably a 10-inch square as well. So it's more of a modern take on this one. You're not even going to see the design right here. You really need to look at the pictures when the quilt is laid out, and that's where you can see the Christmas tree design. This is using V and Company's Confetti, and I do believe this is in the ombre the ombre confetti, because I can see some darker prints here, some lighter prints here. See how this is turning a little lighter here, and it's a little darker up in this corner. This is the same fabric, but this one's in the darker end of the ombre. This is in the lighter end of the ombre, and I can see the same thing in the green. The corner of this triangle is in the darker side of the ombre, and then it moves to the lighter, and then the ones down here are very, very light. And that's the way those confetti ombres are done, and you'll see those as backing fabrics as well, where it'll go from a very dark confetti at the top and at the end, and in the center it's a little lighter. This confetti has gold, mostly gold. There's a little bit of like a tarnished bronze in there maybe too, but mostly gold. And the confetti is all the little dots, so it makes a very festive quilt. And I think I mentioned this one measures 66 by 66. The backing fabric that Jennifer chose for this one is a very pretty Christmas, and I don't have the name of this. If I still have the selvage, I'll look at it. But it's very pretty. It's red. It's a tone on tone. It's a red, but it has lots of snowflakes and circles. It's a very pretty fabric. All right, for the pantograph, Jennifer asked that we do tree doodles. Very appropriate for a Christmas tree quilt. And tree doodles, you have these Christmas trees reminds me of the old bed springs. They're spiraling down. You're skinny at the top, wider at the bottom. They're spiraling down, and there's a Christmas tree there's a Christmas tree. There's a Christmas star on the top. And we had an old mattress years and years ago that had the old springs in it, and we saved all those springs. So I still decorate with those, and have at times used them on the top of my Christmas tree and then attached like a big, I think it was felt. Some sort of a felt star that I had made and I had attached to the top of that spring, and then it fits great over the top of a Christmas tree, and so then I use that, and so that's what this pantograph always reminds me of. So you can see the Christmas trees. You have one facing up, one facing down, so it does not matter which direction your quilt is. We made these Christmas trees about 5 or 6 inches tall. I thought I wrote it down. Height of 5 is the height of this pantograph. So the Christmas trees measure 5 inches. We wanted to give lots of texture. This quilt, while it's got busy, it's very busy with the confetti. There's lots of open spaces. And to make it a little more festive, we did do the Christmas trees. I did use the Omni Cream on this one. The tone of the quilt was, these whites, they were creamier color. And if I'd used the Omni Natural White, I felt it was too bright, and it was really bringing the attention to the quilting and not the overall design. I didn't want you to see the quilting until you got in close. And also because of the red backing, then the cream on the back is toned down a little bit also, and you're not getting these very bright white threads on the back with the red. So I did use the Omni Cream color. A fun Christmas pantograph. You can make it larger if you don't want your Christmas trees so small. You can make it much larger. It really works out well. Very beautiful, just in time for Christmas. I have 6 quilts from Lee. I'm going to do them in 2 batches of 3. And this first one is the Star of Wonder quilt. This is a free PDF from the Fat Quarter Shop. This was their mystery quilt along in 2024. This finishes at 48 by 48, and it uses the fabric line Once Upon a Christmas by Sweetfire Road. It is darling. I love these fabrics. I like the pink and the red and the green together. And just beautiful. This, like I said, this is a free PDF. You can print this off. I have linked it down below. The fabric requirements are 2 yards of a background print. This one is a tone on tone. It is a white with little dots on it, and I'm sure it's part of that same line. Then a fat quarter of each of the colored ones. So everything, the reds, the pinks, the greens, all of those are done with fat quarters. You need a binding and a backing. So I am sure you can find fabrics in your stash to do this one. Print off the free PDF and find Christmas fabrics or whatever your favorite colorway is. It does not necessarily have to be Christmas fabrics. You could even just do reds and pinks and greens, or reds and darker greens and lighter greens, or reds and greens and golds, whatever you like for Christmas. It could be very, very pretty in whatever you have on hand. The design here, you have your center star, and I did not look at the specific instructions, so I'm just picking this apart, just me looking at it, but it's a free PDF, so you can print it off and you can see exactly how it's done. We have 4 of these pink stars. We have 2 done in one colorway. They're all pink, but 2 done in this fabric and 2 done in a separate fabric. Then it looks like this is your center star. We have the pink ones on each of the 4 sides. You have green ones on each of the 4 sides, on the 4 corners. A little bit of sashing around the outside edge, and those are different fabrics. Those are white with either cardinals on them or Christmas baubles on them. Then you have a green square and a square on each one, and one in the center, and then on each side of the quilt as well. Then the outside border, and then you have a white border all around the outside edge of that. So that is the called for, is the white around the outside edge. So that is part of your backing fabric that is creating that larger border. If you want it smaller, you could totally finish right after this round here. If you need it even smaller than that, you could finish after that inside round. So you could make it as large or as small. You know, even if you just wanted that center section right here, that would make a great table topper or square placemat or something like that for your Christmas table. So lots of things you could do with this pattern, and again, like I said, it's a free pattern. Here is the backing fabric. Don't you like that pink background and the Christmas trees on top? Very cute. That is part of that Sweetfire Road line, Once Upon a Christmas. I don't believe that's still available. They do have a Christmas line coming out for next Christmas. It actually comes out in July of 2026. So if you like her style, her design, then you'll want to check that one out as well. The pantograph on this one is called Christmas Star. And let me pull this in close so that you can see what it looks like. Christmas Star looks, the reason I did this one is when I saw this fabric right here. See this fabric right here? See that little Christmas ornament right there? I told Lee, I said, I see that pantograph right there. That's called Christmas Star. I did this in the Omni Natural White thread. You got lots of white background fabric. And I don't want anything to stand out, so I didn't use color, but when you get in close, you can see that pantograph on there. It's a cute design, very much hinting towards those old Christmas time balls. It does have a star shape in the center, and then you have the two echoing out so that you get that rounded feature of the Christmas ornament. Did use white in the backing also, a white thread in the bobbin. So that one, the backing, you really have to look closely to be able to even see it. The height on this one, I don't think I wrote it down. She likes dense quilting, so I did, and this pantograph really is, even though you can make the design larger, it really is a pretty dense pantograph anyway, just because of the echoing of that ball, that ornament, how you're getting that is kind of it echoing back and forth. And so it does give a really good coverage, even if you would make it larger. But each one of these measures probably 3-4 inches tall. All right, that is Lee's first quilt. Lee's second quilt, she says, when I asked for the name of the pattern, she says, I don't know. I found a picture on Pinterest and did the math. I love that. Again, this is all half square triangles. So where we had the Christmas tree one earlier and it's all done in half square triangles, that's all this one is as well. And I love to play with this block, a very simple block, half square triangles, very simple block. You change the size of the block. You can make fewer blocks and make a more modern quilt setting where you have very large blocks and it's making one very large pattern, and that's basically what this is. So she has the fabric lines she has used in this are both by three sisters, and that is Muse, M-U-S-E, and Bliss. I was able to find Muse, I was not able to find Bliss, so you may have to go on an Etsy store or something like that may carry some older lines. Usually the newest lines is what you'll find at your local quilt stores, and then sometimes on Etsy you can find smaller quilt shops or online quilt shops only that then will have some of the older fabric lines that you can grab from there. So these are half square triangles. We have blue all around the outside edge, and then what's changing is the other half of that half square triangle. This one is pink. These are the lighter white color, but within, when you put those in a four-way design, it looks like it is a diamond shape inside of the blue square. But those are just half square triangles, okay? These outside edge, what looks like flying geese units, again, are just half square triangles. We have a white one with a pink one, white one with a pink one. Can you see that? Maybe over here. White and pink, and the way we orient them then gives that arrows type of shape or that pointy type shape. If you follow that with the half square triangles going this direction behind it, so these are two, and then these are two more. But if I make it the pinks match up with that one, then it gives this whole arrow type of look. It's all half square triangles. It's just in how you orient them. Then on the top here, half square triangle with a pink, the darker pink and the lighter pink. And then again, this one is a white square, the half square triangle with a dark pink and white, and that's how you're getting the corners of those stars. So go back and look at the larger picture that I put in prior to starting to talk about it, and you can see the layout much better. And then around the outside edge, there's a very large border around the outside edge. That's probably a good 10-inch border all the way around. But then that really sets off your star pattern in the middle. Very nice. A neat thing that Lee did on all of these quilts, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it on this one as well as on some of the others, these are all Christmas presents for her grandkids. And so instead of putting a label on the back, she actually did embroidery on the front. And so this says, to Mallory, love Grammy, and it's done in a pink embroidery. You're not going to be able to see it so much on this one. I'll show it on some of the other quilts. But put it straight onto the front. And then embroidery like that, I'm able to stitch right over. There's no trouble at all. It's in the block itself. It's on the front of the quilt. And I really like that. I don't know that I've seen that too much from quilters, but I really like that she did that. And then the grandchild has it right there on the front of the quilt. And then there's no worrying about where it's centered on the back. And also because on the back of this one, and I believe all of the grandkids' quilts, we did Minky on the back. And she purchased that from me, so she wasn't able to do the embroidery prior to. I don't know if you could do embroidery on Minky. I don't know. I don't have an embroidery machine. Not one that it's on my sewing machine, but I haven't used it. And so I don't know if you could do embroidery on Minky, but then trying to center it, all that could be a problem. Anyway, so all the Minky she purchased from me. And this Minky is the white again. And let me bring in close so you can see the pantograph. This is called Lemon Peel. How soft is that? So dainty and just really goes with the fabrics on the front. I love the daintiness of this one. Lemon Peel, again, can be made smaller, larger. This is, I'd say, it's a denser one. I only made it, each one of these is only about 2 inches tall. I have done a quilt where I did a much, much smaller, and I felt like with the softness of this quilt, I really didn't want to go that tight on this one, so I did make them, I'd say towards the tight end, but a little open, more open than I've done on a different quilt. So 3 little loops, and then it goes over to the next one. I like that. This is done in color thread. I did cream color because the fabrics on the front were creamier. And you can see with the white, you can tell that they're creamier. And so I wanted it to match the front. I wanted the fabric, the thread to match the front of the quilt. And again with Minky, the threads blend in so nicely, you're not going to see the color on the back. So that's what the pantograph looks like on the front of the quilt. Very pretty. That's Lemon Peel. And this quilt measures 72 by 87. This pattern is called Chevron Chic. This is done by Modern Material Girl Designs, and she has a shop on Etsy, and here is what the pattern looks like. This is a very versatile pattern. She has done this for a young man. So she's done the browns and the green plaid, the black, and then it does have some hunting as one of the fabrics, and I really, really like that. So one of the fabrics, one of the black lines has the hunting in it, but nothing else has that. And I like that hunting theme doesn't overtake the quilt. It's built into the quilt with just one fabric, and then you're really seeing all the color of the rest of it. It's very, very nice. It does say that this includes multiple size options and 2 design variations. So it says you can make from a baby size, a lap size, a twin size, and a full size. And this is the twin size that's on here. The fabric line, she says, is miscellaneous. So this would be a great thing to pull your novelty fabric, whatever the theme fabric is for your quilt, and then pull colors of that, not other themed fabrics, but just colors from that themed fabric that then you can alternate and make the rest of the design. So she has the themed one, she has a tan color, the green plaid one, black, and then a white grungy type one, and then a green along the bottom as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 colors, including the novelty one. And you can see that hunting theme there. On the back of this one, she wanted the sand color Minky. So pretty, so pretty. And I love that. Now, one thing I want to mention, I do carry 90-inch wide Minky. I don't want to have to piece backings. That's the whole point of wide backings. I love that Minky comes in that size. Now this quilt measured 72 by 87. So the 87 on a 90-inch wide Minky is too close. I can't do that on the bar. I really need 4 inches on either side. That only gives me 3 inches total. And so that would only be 1.5 inches on either side, and I can't get that close. But no problem, I just cut the Minky the other direction. Not that I cut the Minky the other direction, I oriented the quilt the other direction. So 87, instead of fitting in that 90-inch width, I did the 87 on the Minky this direction so that the 72 part is within that 90, and then I cut the Minky long enough so that it was beyond the 87. So the 87 is the length, so I cut the Minky at, usually I cut at 10 inches. I only ask clients for 8 inches more, but if I'm cutting wide backings, I usually go to 10 inches. It's just safer that way. So that's how you can use a wide backing, a 90-inch wide backing, because Minky doesn't come as large as the 108s. I have started seeing some 108-inch wide Minkies, but Shannon Cuddle comes in the 90-inch at this point, and that's what I have in stock. And so I just orient the quilt the other direction. I haven't had any trouble with the Minky loading it the other direction. So I did load this one. Normally, I load selvages on the bars. I like that better. I know that that's straight. This time I could not do that because of the way this pattern is oriented. I needed the Minky to be the lengthwise, so my 90 was side to side, which meant my selvages were on the side. How I cut the Minky was 97, and that needed to be the length of it. So I did load the raw edge on the bars, and I didn't have any trouble with it. This pantograph is called Squared. I think this worked very nicely with this design on the front, kind of kept with the same diagonal feel, but the Squared add just a little bit more dimension into it, and a little smaller so you can see it in some of those. It's still a manly design. I think it works really, really well with these fabrics. This is a great texture building pantograph. I really like this one. It does have the sharper corners where diagonal plaid bias cut, similar design, but your corners are more rounded. This one really does have the sharp squared corners, thus the name Squared, and I think you can see it very well on the back. Straighten it out so you can see that one. The thread color on this one is almond. I felt that that fit the, it really is, the almond is this color right here. That's the color of thread. And I auditioned others, cream, ash, beige, and I stuck with the almond. It really matched this fabric right here. And then again on the back, it just blends in very nicely. Love this quilt. This could be done, you know, here it's done in a hunting theme. Doesn't even have to be theme. You could do it by color. Again, it's all half square triangles as far as I looked. Maybe not. How is this put together? Let me see. You could do this half square triangles, but I don't know. Let me see where the block is. Yeah, that's what it is. Half square triangles. All half square triangles. So now you've seen 3 quilts so far. All they are done with is half square triangles, and you have 3 totally different quilts. So a very versatile block, very easy block. This is one of the first blocks you could start with if you're new to quilting, and you can make so many different designs. It's just beautiful. Lee's next 3 quilts are all the same, just done with a different solid color. So let me show you the pattern first. This is called Layer Cake Tumble. This is a free pattern on the Fat Quarter Shop. It uses 1 print layer cake or 36 10-inch print squares if you've got some other fabrics that you're wanting to use, 1 solid junior jelly roll or 18 2.5-inch strips. So that is what the solid color is. So what she has used as the layer cake are these unicorn prints. There are pink ones, this, let me tell you the fabric line. This is called Unicorn Meadow, and then she's done solids. So pink, the turquoise with the blue with the florals, the purples, there's blue, couple different pink unicorn prints. Here's a creamy color. She's used those same fabrics, which are all the layer cake. I'm sure she had yardage and she just cut it into 10-inch squares. So even though you have a pattern that says use a layer cake, if you've got yardage that you're wanting to use, you can cut that up. And it's all coordinated fabric, so it works very well together. It's not necessarily that you have to have a layer cake. You could create your own. So she's done a blue colorway. Here is the solid colors with the blue. Then she has done the purple colorway. And then she has done one in the pink colorway. So 3 different grandchildren, and here is where you can see the embroidery that she has done. This says, to Eloise, love Grammy, and she's put that right into the quilt. Each one has that. This one's to Amelia, right there on the corner, and she has changed the color, so that one's purple, and then this one blue says this is to Mabel. I love those names. Very pretty. Now on the back of this, she has used the same, she asked for the same Minky on the back. This is the light gray Minky. This one, this is platinum, is the color of this Minky, platinum. Platinum and sterling are very close. And I mentioned before, I probably won't stock both of them. I kind of like the platinum, but you can, you know, they're so similar. They're very, very similar. So this is platinum in the Shannon Cuddle Minky, and she used that on the back of all 3 of the quilts. And I think that you can see the pantograph very nicely. I'll pull this in so you can see. This is called Sweet Marmalade. Now, if you've seen marmalade before, marmalade is the same type of design, but without the heart. And the Sweet Marmalade adds in that heart. And how cute is that from a quilt that's going to granddaughters? I just love it. So the spiral on this one is it's a large, chunky spiral. The center of the spiral is rounded. It does not come to a sharp point. There really is nothing sharp and pointed about this one except the points of the hearts. Notice the heart, you have 2 different sizes, and those are in the crevices of those spirals. The spirals are very symmetrical, meaning the space around as it's going, the spiral stays the same. It's not like it gets bigger or larger or skinnier. It's the same distance, all of the lines. So it's very circular shape, I guess is what I'm trying to say. On the outside edge of the spiral, you do have small little circles. I think that adds a playfulness as well. And then the 2 hearts on either side of the spirals. So then malachite, is it malachite? Marmalade. Malachite is the water one. Marmalade has the same design. It's very similar with the spirals, but you don't have the hearts in there. So the Sweet Marmalade adds the hearts, which I think is a very, very nice touch. Let me grab the threads for this one because I did use different ones on each one. All right, for each of these quilts, I did use a different color thread in the top. So for the blue one, I used this one called Blue Ice. That blended very nicely. By using a color here, then the quilting really blended in with the solid colors, especially because it's for a younger child's quilt. I like color on those a little bit better, and I just thought the colored really worked well. I'm not always a big color person, don't like switching up colors a whole lot. I think your neutrals work well 90% of the time. This is one of those that I just thought color really blends in. It really reads as a neutral on each of the different quilts. It shows up a little bit on this, but I think it adds a nice dimension to those unicorn prints. So this one is Blue Ice 3087. That is an omni thread done by Superior Threads. And that was done for the blue one. Now on the backing, or for the bobbin, I did use gray in the bobbin of all of these. You don't see it on the top, and the reason I did that is because I don't have bobbins in each one of these colors, and with Minky on the back, there really was no reason to wind bobbins with this because you're not going to see the color in the bobbin anyway. And my tension, you don't see any of the gray, or yeah, any of the gray. They're very similar tones anyway, so I don't think you would notice any gray pop throughs at all. The colors of the tops are you know, they're quilt, or they're saturated colors. So if this was a white top and you were using a blue on the top and a gray on the bottom, you might see some pop throughs. But with the colored fabrics, with the thickness of the Minky, you're not going to see a difference between the top color and the bobbin color. So I kept gray in the bobbin for each one of these and just changed the top color. So that was for the blue one. For the purple one, I used, this is, my spool doesn't have the number on, or it doesn't have the name on it. This is 3114. I did link it down below. I think it's called Frosted Lilac or something like that, but it's a light purple. Again, matched very nicely with this color purple. Blends in with the solid colors where you're just getting your texture. You're seeing the texture. You can see a little bit more of the color on the printed, on the novelty prints, but I think it's very pretty. So that blends in very nicely with that one. Then for the pink one, I did use baby pink. This is Omni 3129. And that's what it looks like on the pink quilt. Very pretty. I enjoyed doing these. These were very fun. And actually, for those of you who are digital longarm quilters, I created the workspace. Each of these quilts is the exact same size. Each one measures 63 by 63. So when I created my workspace on my computer, then I saved it as a workspace. And when I started each new quilt, all I did was bring up that workspace, and I centered that workspace over the quilt top, wherever my quilt top was on the screen. Or really what I did is I just dragged the workspace on my computer. I dragged, that sounds so funny. So I put my needle in the top left corner where I wanted that pantograph to start, where that was. Then on my computer screen, I just drug the workspace over so that the corner of that pantograph, or that workspace, the corner of that workspace matched up with my needle, where my needle was in the corner of that quilt. So I used the exact same workspace stitching pathway for each one of these. I did not recreate it each time. I saved the workspace and then just centered that workspace wherever my quilt was on the long arm. Because each one was the exact same size, I was able to do that. I didn't have to worry about the size of the quilt. Each one was exactly the same. So if I started in the top left-hand corner in the same spot that I wanted to, then it was able to stitch out, and it covered the whole quilt. That way also, every one of these sweet marmalades is the same size. I didn't have to rethink that each time I was creating my area, changing the size of the design. Each one is exactly the same, exact same size, because I saved it as a workspace. So I hope that helps you as well. Very, very fun, I enjoyed doing every one of these quilts. It's going to be a great Christmas at your house. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you found lots of fun things to work on. Maybe some projects that you'd like to start for Christmas, or put them on your to-do list for after the first of the year. But beautiful, beautiful quilts. I am so thankful that you let me be a part of your quilting journey. And I will be back here next week, because every quilt is worth finishing. We'll see you then.